Hi, I'm Mike of Nearly Enough Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. I am going to send some things off to the Mun, specifically some connectors to allow my Mun Hopper to refuel another craft. And I don't have the requisite bits, so I need to create a rocket rather quickly to send that off. I have a cheap inventory launcher rocket, but I actually tried. There's an episode I recorded, but I haven't shown you because I deleted it because it didn't work because I crashed constantly and I ran out of Delta V all the time and went horribly wrong. So I'm basically doing something from scratch. It's a pretty standard setup, it must be said. But there you go. That's a rocket ready for launch, pretty much. I'm putting some cameras on just to do some fancy camera angles, which you will see as we go along. Starting more or less now. That's rather swished, don't you think? That's using a hull cam mod. So up I go, standard assault, standard launch, booster separation. So I do that a couple more times as we go through the through the video. I got a really steep ascent, but I did kind of manage to fight it back after a while. So there go the fairings. It wasn't a bad launch, actually. I had quite a... Oh, that was an attempt to do the last booster separation, but I picked them on camera, so you didn't have to see it. So pretty standard launch up to this stage. You can see that I've installed a new graphics mod called, this is Scatter and Eve, Environmental Visual Enhancements. So Kerbal is looking rather pretty when you can see it from a distance. I'm playing still with more with camera mods. So I got that wrong. You can't even see the ship on that one. But I just keep playing because I've got time, and this is me playing with the auto zoom, which doesn't work very well because the stars you see are just a skybox and they don't scale very well. Again, I forgot to put an action group to extend the solar panels. I have to do that manually, which is always slightly aggravating. So equalization burn, nice and quick. I'm pretty good these days at getting an encounter with the Mun. So I get pretty close in with a nice tight orbit, which is what I'm going to need, because this is eventually going to land up at the taxi stand. So I actually want to be quite a ways in. I want to have a nice tight orbit. More playing with camera mods. This is slightly different. This is camera tools. This is a slightly different mod. So eventually I get something that I think is going to look nice when I finally do my burn. Although I was a bit worried that I might end up having it all happen in the dark, and then I realised that wasn't going to happen, so that's alright. So then I set up my escape burn. I think that looked rather nice, apart from the fact that I left the mouse pointer actually on screen while doing it. So off we trot. I think although I get the maneuver I want, I think the fact that I actually change engines halfway causes confusion with either the game engine as a whole or maybe Kerbal engineer. I'm not sure. So I tend to find that if I do change engines partway through, because again, as always, I've overspec'd this rocket and I used a lot of my orbiting stage to actually get me through to the Mun. I'm waiting here, by the way, to change the sphere of influence, because I just do that because I'm paranoid, because I had I had a bad time with it once, so I changed it. So I always wait for that just in case. But yeah, if I change engines partway through, as I did here, because I had a lot of my orbiting engine left, that seems to cause a bit of confusion with the maneuver node, and I often find that I can't quite get to where I'm meant to go. Sometimes I can succeed. In that case, I succeeded just by going a bit further, and I got there in the end. So that all worked out. But I've had situations where I've had to do very expensive correction burns to get where I want to go. So this is me just bringing my orbit way down. So I got an orbit, and so now my periapsis, my peri-mun, I suppose, is about 10k. And so I set up a maneuver to bring my apo down. I very nearly decided, you can actually see if you look very carefully, that I'm very close to my target, and I was wondering whether or not I should just go straight for it. But apart from everything else, it was very dark. This is obviously lunar night, and I didn't want to be landing. Apart from anything else, I haven't put any lights on this craft, so landing would be somewhere between very difficult and very impossible. But I set up the maneuver node, and I do my normal calculations, working out when I want to start my slowing down burn to actually get where I want to be. So I speed things up a bit. So I'm going to be landing during the day as opposed to during the night. Now I'm just trying to find the target. I wasn't seeing it. I thought I'd correctly got the target, but no, apparently not. I'm a bit off course. I'm off to the north, but I decided to go for it anyway. I try occasionally to try and adjust my course, but in the end I just slow myself. This is still my transfer state, because again, like I said, I've completely overspec'd this rocket, so I have a lot of spare fuel. Enough that I decided to just go straight for it and head towards the target, which is the taxi stand. And that, I mean, I have tons of fuel to do this, which is very cool. So there goes my last bit of that transfer stage. And so I've done pretty much all the work there, and now it's just, falling out of the sky and the normal thing. Another fancy smancy shot for no good reason. Plummeting towards the ground. I think it looks rather swish. It's kind of funny that the craft actually passes straight through the camera, but never mind that. And from here on in, it's just a case of adjusting myself and getting even closer. I haven't, unfortunately, set up my craft to have a very obvious front end to do my maneuvers from, but, I managed it pretty much anyway. I did like that flip when I switched to prograde at one point. Switched to retrograde, then flipped completely, which is funny. But there's a lot of manoeuvring, and a lot of overcorrection and getting it wrong, and then I'll try, maybe not, that kind of thing. So eventually, I do come down. I do lose one of my solar panels, but it doesn't matter. This thing's never intended to fly again. And so that there is the end of that. I now have those connectors sitting waiting for me, which means that I can now bring my Moonhopper over and start connecting things up and possibly rescue some craft. So until then, do hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos. Come visit Nearly Enough Dice at nearlyenoughdice.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, reach for the stars.